Here we're going to be making Puerto Rican pernil. So first I'm going to be cutting in between this layer of skin and the meat. And we're just going to be pulling the skin away from the meat so that way we can cut holes into the meat and season it well. So you just want to cut this layer back, and then we're just going to poke some holes with a knife. Make sure that they're, I would say at least 1 inch deep so that the seasoning can get down in there. And I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. Again, make sure that the knife gets down there pretty well. And then once you've poked quite a few holes in it, next we're going to be flipping it back over. And now we're going to be making our seasoning. Here are 10 garlic cloves that I'm going to crush up. And for the rest of the stuff in the seasoning paste, I will have it in my description so you guys can refer there. And here we're just mixing it all together. And we're going to be adding in some olive oil. And then here I'm adding it, mixing it, and then I didn't have enough olive oil, so I went in and added a little bit more just to make sure that it's nice and a good paste, not too dry. So here I'm just going to mix this seasoning up to get ready to put it on my meat. And then next I'm just going to be adding a little bit of mustard just to give it a boost of flavor. Mix that in. And here you guys can see it's like a pasty consistency. Adding in a little bit more salt and a little bit more mustard. And this is what I have. I'm going to be spreading it on top of the meat. And I'm going to be pushing it down into those holes as much as I can to get the seasoning in there. And just rub it all around, and then we're going to flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that it's down in those grooves. Just make sure that it's all around. And then after that, we are going to be putting some underneath this flap of the skin. Don't put it on top though, just underneath here. We're going to be putting this back over our meat when we have it all seasoned. And you are going to pat this dry with a paper towel. We want this dry because this will give us a crunch. After it is patted dry, we're just going to be adding on a little bit of seasoned salt. And I'm just going to rub this around. Make sure that it's pretty well over all of the skin portion. And then we're going to be covering it with foil, and we're going to be marinating it in our fridge overnight or for 24 hours. So I'm just covering it with foil, and I'm going to put it inside my fridge overnight just so that all of the marinade can get into it and we'll be good to go the next day. So here's the next morning. We're going to take it out, pat it dry one more time, put a little bit more of seasoned salt on it. Just rub that around. And then once that's good, you want this to be dry, remember, not wet, so you get a good crunch. We're going to be covering it back over. We're going to be baking this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 4 hours. And then after 4 hours, we're going to take it out. And it's going to look like this or similar. Take this foil off. And we're just going to be taking some of this juice from it. And I'm just going to pour it over the meat part, not the skin part, because we still want that to be as dry as we can to still get that crunch. So I'm just pouring it over the meat here. It smells so good. And now we are going to be sticking it back in the oven for 1 more hour uncovered. So you will not have foil on it for the last hour. And this is how it will come out. As you can see, it's crunchy, hard on the top, just what we want. And it turned out so good. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. So there you guys have it. This is done. It smells so good. It tastes so good. So let us know if you guys try it.